So yeah, thanks a million, Frank. I'm delighted to be here today to talk a little bit about the realities of doing a postgrad degree. Now, I know the previous session with the students have given you a lot of information there already, and really a lot of my presentation is a roundup of what previous presenters have spoken about already. So I'll be touching in on what they've said, a little bit of a roundup, but maybe getting into other topics as well as we go along. Okay. So what we'll cover today, who am I? Yes, I am Colette O'Beirne. I am the Global Recruitment Manager here in DCU, but I completed my master's here in DCU as well, back in 2019 in the Master's in Management of Operations. So it still seems kind of fresh in my head on what it was all about and how I got on. And I'm going to give you maybe a little bit of insight into how I managed and the challenges maybe that I faced as I did my master's throughout the presentation. Just little bits and little hints and tips as well. Why this topic? Well, we really want to help you. The whole of all these sessions have been to help you make an informed and confident decision about committing to postgraduate study. It's very important that you are confident in your decisions, that you have research, that you're making the best informed decision that you can based on what you've learned, and you're just happy with your choices. So that's why this session is all about today. And really, the truth is that postgraduate study it's exciting in terms of the study, the in-depth study that you'll carry out, the specialization of your chosen field, and hopefully the possibility of increasing your earning potential. But it's also challenging, externally in terms of finding accommodation, affording the tuition fees and the cost of living when you're actually studying here in Ireland and Dublin. Meeting the academic requirements is a challenge. Meeting the English language proficiency requirements may be a challenge, and there probably might be challenges then in obtaining a visa. So these are all challenges that you might face, and these are the realities of committing to a postgraduate study. What are these challenges? And then some of the challenges can be internal as well. So it might require some balance and self-awareness. So in terms of self-awareness, this could be as simple as completing a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis to acknowledge your own strengths and weaknesses, and get a bit of a structured view on yourself. It's really important, I suppose, to view your work and your personal life and your social time as interconnected rather than separate compartments. Everything has to be viewed together, right? And I suppose in an ideal world as well, you have to learn to say no to things that don't align with your priorities, so that you can say yes to what's important for your own well-being. And then really just consciously decide what matters most to you and prioritize those activities. It's very important as well to take care of your own body and your mind, incorporating daily exercise, having a balanced diet, adequate sleep. You've heard all this before, but this is so important when you're actually taking on this big project as well. And they're just really fundamental for your own physical and mental health well-being. So this is like why we're actually covering this topic together today. All these points. So an overview of the schedule will be just the next 10 minutes or so: a motivation, the workload, the lifestyle, the finances, and career value. All of it seem very familiar to you because it's all happened in the previous sessions. But like I said, it's a bit of a roundup. Okay, just to remind you. So the motivation and fit, I suppose the common drivers or motivations for carrying out a postgraduate study are usually career advancement is the top one, I suppose. There could be maybe of an interest in a career change. You might be coming from an engineering background, you want to get into business, maybe the management of business program. It could be passion for a subject. You might love writing and you might want to do the MA in creative writing, for example. So there's lots of different drivers and motivations for why you want to actually do a postgraduate degree. But it's very important that you align your personal and career goals with your program choice. So it's that alignment then will be, choosing. It's just, that alignment will give you direction. It'll increase your motivation, and it really ensures that all your efforts that you're putting into this have meaning and success. Okay, so if it might help create a clear roadmap for you. It'll help you make more better informed decisions about your studies, and just will make the challenges of your program feel more purposeful. Okay, so that alignment to your personal and career goals will have that effect, hopefully. Say, for example, if you're doing your driver's career advancement, choosing the right program means that the skills and the knowledge that you gain as part of your postgraduate degree will be directly relevant then to your desired career path. And then that means that all your academic efforts that you have then are an investment in your future rather than just a random or guided, misdirected pursuit. So that's really important. And then that brings in my own master's again in management operations and all the subjects that I studied there, the assignments that I carried out. I based them relevant to my own work. My own thesis was based on student recruitment. And it made it so much more interesting for me to do it that way because I was able to put into practice the theories that I was learning into my work and make better decisions around it, the theory that I was learning. And then all the research that I did, I just learned so much more as well when I was doing my thesis on student recruitment. So it's great that, my actual master's I based it around my work as well. And that made it much more easier for me to carry it out also. Um, the time and then I suppose it can if you're immediately after an undergraduate degree or maybe gaining a few years of work experience, I suppose going straight into a master's program from undergrad can make the transition easier. You're already in student mode and you might have more momentum to actually continue your studies while waiting a few years. It could be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years even, and gives you, it helps you, I suppose, gain more skills and more clarity about your career goals. So there's lots of different choice that you have there as well. Ultimately, the timing depends on your own personal circumstances, your career goals, your financial situation, and just a really realistic assessment of the commitment required. Okay, and the whole thing is to be honest with yourself, and about your motivations and whether you can handle the academic and personal commitment. It might be helpful to speak to somebody, maybe a mentor, a career advisor, a family member, one of your peers that you work with already, just to discuss your options. It's always helpful to talk, right? Moving on then, academic realities. Undergrad to postgrad, what's the difference? Well, undergraduate study is really a very broad-based program of study, while a postgrad study is more specialised. It's a more advanced level of education. And the key differences, I suppose, would be, yes, the depth of study with postgrad programs focusing on specialisation and independent research. And the learning environment is more intimate, it's more interactive at postgraduate level, and the smaller class sizes, it's more research intensive, it can lead to greater career specialisation, and at the end of the day, hopefully higher earning potential for yourselves as well. With a higher level of independent work, you have to take more initiative in finding resources, you have to problem solve, you develop your own research plans, and there's a deeper engagement then with the specific subject, and increased collaboration with your faculty lecturers, and absolutely more development of professional communication skills as well. But it really does require strong time management skills to balance studies with work and personal commitments and a high degree of self-motivation. So they're a bit of the realities of it if you actually do consider studying at postgraduate level. There's great, the high pressure then maybe can lead to stress and other mental health challenges. But as Claire was saying in her presentation, there's so much support in DCU for students who are coming to study at either undergrad or postgraduate level. And she mentioned things like the academic learning and writing skill support. She mentioned the physical and mental health and well-being counselling. There's a mental health nurse. There's supports for students with disabilities. There's advice and guidance. The walk-in advice centre sounds fantastic. It's run by the student advisors. There's life coaching. There's an international student officer supporting international students, and then all about helping you settle into university life. And then, of course, Venetia spoke about the careers advice and the professional development there as well. Juggling the commitment and finding your balance then, it's, successfully managing studies and part-time work and personal life. We've said this a few times already. The time management strategies that work, could be blocking time, setting realistic goals. And yes, we said ideally knowing when to say no. That's easier said than done. You know what I mean? Like it really is knowing when to say no. You might, might have family commitments as well. And it might be impossible for you to do that, but just do your best to have have those strategies in place before you actually start your postgraduate study. And then again, looking after your mental health, utilising the DCU counselling wellbeing services. On the social side, obviously, it's great fun on campus as well. If you do get involved with it, there's a postgraduate society, there's the Global Cafe as well for international students. That sounds fantastic also. It's all about connecting with your classmates and, hopefully being involved in networking events as well that'll help you progress your career as well. Um, Postgraduate programs they're really full on with individual project work, teamwork assignments. So if you're feeling overwhelmed at all, this can take effect on your mental health. If you are doing part-time work on top of that, you might start to miss classes in college, and that doesn't help either. So like I know you might have student loans and things like that, and that might repayment of that mightn't kick in until after you start earning. So just be aware of that as well if you are coming from overseas and you want to do, part-time work. When you come to DCU, we don't get you a job. That's just the fact of it. We don't get you a job. You have to go and look for that yourself. It could be in retail or hospitality. But then if you are deciding to do part-time work as part of your, during your postgraduate studies and you've never done postgraduate work before, that's another level of stress that you have. If you're going to be working part-time for the first time as well. So just be aware of all these things as well. And the financial impact of the student post-graduation of not attending lectures and college, each time a grade is dropped, the potential salary is also dropped. So just to be aware of things like that when before you're coming to, if you're coming from international students, you're coming to Ireland, and be aware of the costs. You have your tuition fees, but you also clear, and we have in the resources there the cost of living to a student living away from home, and you need to be aware of all these costs that will be, you have to manage all these costs, and if possible, it would be great, again, in an ideal world, if you could come and not have to do part-time study and just concentrate all your activities into that 1 year of postgraduate study, that would be really beneficial for yourselves as well. Yes, we've kind of gone through this already. The financial commitments, understanding the cost, the tuition fees, living costs in Dublin. Like I said, Claire gave great information on that earlier on, and we do have it in our website, the resources part of this presentation, and where you can find more information about that. The Student Finance Assistance Fund is also there as well. We do have some scholarships, not that many, but we do have given links out to that already. But you can explore some scholarship opportunities, and if you need to, then the part-time work is there also. But the payoff, then the investment can pay off long term. The career outcomes and opportunities, again, DCU is 92% of our DCU grads are in employment or further study. Venetia went through all these things already. The transferable skills have developed, obviously, problem solving, research, leadership, communication, as well as many more. The connections then, access to internships, industry product projects, connections, professional networking, that's all available to you as you study in DCU also. And the Career Service do offer great support for CVs, writing, your employer events, and your career planning as well. So, like the careers that they do offer, the Career Service do offer great support, as I said, but they have the great, the careers, fair, the career fair back in October, and you can meet with employers, and it's a direct link between the students and future employers, and there's usually about 100 employers on campus over 2 days. In the areas of business, accounting, finance, law, science, technology, engineering. And, you can ask specific questions to employers. You can gain insights into graduate programs. There's a great variety of job opportunities, and just really discover what it's like to work for these top companies. So that's great support for you as well while you're here in DCU. The student voices, you just listen to them, all the guys there, and they gave great advice to yourselves as well that you can listen back to in your own time. But the challenges can be adjusting to the workload, the cultural changes, the weather, accommodation, cost of living, being prepared financially, and I have here learn how to cook. I don't know if Claire said it in her presentation; she might have said it, but if you're coming to Ireland and you've never cooked at home before, please get some cooking lessons before you arrive, just to help you as well, while you're actually in Ireland, and you have to, cook for yourself and feed yourself, and there isn't anybody else to do it for you. So it's nice to get a few lessons before you come. But the rewards are the feeling of accomplishment, hopefully the career traction, the confidence boost that you have when you finish a master's, and that feeling of walking across the stage, in DCU, the Helix, at graduation time. It'll be well worth it in the end, because that's what I was living for when I was finishing my master's. It was just walking across the stage to get my parchment. And if you live for that, that experience is just fantastic. The learnings then, these are actually the learnings from my own thesis: the skills in data collection and analysis techniques, the project management and the multitasking, reading the literature to enhance your overall learning and extend your knowledge of a subject area. And idea generation was huge for me as well, as I researched into my topic. And this is all really beneficial in the long term, and it has been beneficial to me in my own job as well, all these skills and learnings that I developed. So the final reflection: is it right for you? Just a bit of a recap. It's a challenging but immensely rewarding. Hopefully it will be for you as well. It was for me. It does require commitment, but you will grow personally and professionally. Support is available. You've heard from Claire Bowen, Dean of Students. You heard from Venetia. You heard from the students. You heard from Frank, Priya. Help is there for you, and DCU is here to help you every step of the way. You can explore DCU postgraduate options. Frank will give you this anyway, but obviously the courses are available at dcu.ie/postgrad. Reach out to myself, Frank, Priya, anybody on the team, or student ambassadors on Unibuddy, with specific program questions. I would definitely go onto Unibuddy, log in and look at the blogs that are up there at the moment, because if anything, a testimonial from a student means so much more, because these are, students who are studying here, and they'll give you the real deal. So look at those blogs and those videos, because they'll just really help you in your research. The Go In app as well will be available to you once you're made an offer. And then again, that will allow you to connect with your own peers and talk about anything at all. Whether it's like sports at DCU, or, going out in Dublin, or whatever it is. So Frank will tell you a little bit about that as well. But these are great resources available to you, and to help you in your research before you come to DCU and during your time here also. That's it. That's all I have to say. So thanks very much. And if you have any questions, I'll hang around for a little while. Thanks, Frank.